So it looks like Marvel Studios is doing a version of the Guardians, except this time it's multiverse protectors. So I I remember back when it was announced that they were doing What If, we speculated like, look, this is gonna have to lead into some sort of multiverse Avengers team up or something, and that brand new art for like the multiverse, what is it? Guardians of the Multiverse, I think.
Guardians of the Multiverse, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much as much confirmation as we need, right? It's like we're gonna go into the multiverse. It looks like what Nick Fury's talking to Uatu, and then we kind of just get dragged into this whole, hey, check out everything that's happening in other stories and what if scenarios, and inevitably we'll team them all up in some sort of giant multiverse clash and see what works.
I was going to say, from the look of it, it's not as much of an anthology series as they kind of wanted you to believe.
Yeah,
it was actually a narrative going on.
Just feels weird having like a zombie Captain America on the team, or even a heroic
Is he on the team?
Killmonger. Yeah, they had him on the image. It had Zombie Cap and had Eric Killmonger on there too.
Yeah.
I know Killmonger's on. Was Cap really on there?
Yeah, he was.
No, he's not.
What?
You got Gamora, you got Killmonger, you got Captain Britain, Peggy Carter, you got Star-Lord T'Challa, you got something going on with Black Widow. You got Party Thor, Doctor Strange, and Uatu.
I believe what's his name? Zombie Captain America is on other merchandise though.
I was gonna say
like a big push. Yeah. Which again, it's a pretty big, interesting push that they're doing with that, and it makes me suspect that since it's coming after a couple of these shows in Loki, this is sort of going to be another look into it, right? It's like, look at all these fragments and different continuities that could possibly affect into it. And I won't be surprised if it's maybe Nick Fury at the center of it, looking through it all, being like, what have I dragged myself into? Because make no mistake, this is part of the MCU. This isn't just it's a fun cartoon. It's like, no. They're telling more MCU stories that are important, just it's in cartoon form. So,
and I don't think it's a mistake that you have a Captain Britain at the front of it.
Exactly. Yep.
Especially when it's a Guardians of the Multiverse, or you have the Captain Britain core. You could easily have this be the start of that.
Yep.
And, where our Peggy made Shield, this Peggy made the Captain Britain core. Now, and we do it that way.
I don't know why this made me suspect that, like, in Doctor Strange 2, we're going to get some sort of Space Jam effect in one multiverse where it's literally like Doctor Strange and Wanda speaking with like a cartoon, and we're like, what?
I don't want that. I don't want that.
Like, you know the person you're talking to is cell shaded, right?
Yeah. I could see it though.
If we do new Space Jam, that's fair enough.
Yeah. I don't mean it's going to be like
old Space Jam. No.
I don't mean it's like 90s Spider-Man animation talking to Doctor Strange. Oh, hell no. Like, yeah, the new Space Jam style. Like, Ready Player One style, where you're like, it's just slightly removed out of realistic looking that you're like, I can buy this. Like, I think something like that could happen here, which this whole thing gets me more excited for the whole approach to the multiverse, because I guaranteed if things work in this and get a good enough reception, they're like, hey, we're pulling that into live action. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. I think the whole reason why this is animated as it is in the first place is purely because it's just easier to do it that way. If you're doing variants of the same actors in different roles, you can't have them being in two places at once. So you make one animated, and when the time comes for it, you can just bring in that actor as that character or that variant. Because obviously Loki's setting up the whole variant thing, so it's just like, hey, this is going to be a thing going forward.
That's true, yeah. Which there's also been, I guess, mysterious like appearances and cameos teased for this series, and I don't think you go like too insane, but it's also not out of the question that maybe an episode could have a Deadpool appearance or something, right? Like, it's not too out of the question, especially that we heard recently that they're working on a new Deadpool series, like animated. So it's like,
I think it depends when they started it, really.
Yeah, that's true. And we don't even know how many episodes are going to be in the first season, though. So that's kind of a factor. Like, I would suspect maybe 8 to 10, 12 max. But I mean, again,
there's at least one for each of the people on
yeah,
that poster. And
yeah.
then, of course, you've got the extra one for Cap.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be interesting. I'd say 12, maybe 13. I don't think you do like a full 24 cartoon series.
Yeah. I mean, whatever they decide to do, though, I'm excited to see how they're gonna approach it. I'm excited to see the tie-ins to everything. Like, there's the whole idea of sort of building up Marvel animation again, and we could be at this point where instead they're like, well, this was received well. Let's put this into, the mainline MCU and live action. But this was also received well, but we can't greenlight that. But why don't we just make it a whole series of itself? Because Kevin Feige has expressed interest in reviving Marvel animation and bringing it to its glory. And I think, I think this would be a good kickoff step to be like, how can we also make this part of the MCU and not its own thing? Well, if you want more...
do Secret Wars.
Exactly. Like there's an easy in here that I think they're gonna play with this, and I know many people are looking at this series sort of like, oh, it's animated, but
yeah, I've seen a lot of that. It's just like, guys, you're gonna at some point, maybe not straight away. At some point, you're gonna have to watch it.
Yep.
Because they will absolutely tie it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I don't see why they wouldn't. It doesn't make sense to me.
No,
like it's.
No.
It's absolutely a part of it. That's why they announced it. They said it's an important piece. It just by the fact alone that it has the Watcher.
That alone,
That alone is like, yeah, this is a big factor of the MCU going forward. So it's
especially when everything as well as dealing with the multiverse. We've had the start of that arc with WandaVision, and we've got in the multiverse of madness. Then we've got Loki doing variations in time. So. It's gonna tie in. It's not just there for the sake of it.
And I have no doubt Quantumania and stuff is gonna mess with all sorts of time realities and fragments of space and whatever happens. Because again, it's the quantum realm and it's Kang the Conqueror. For the love of God, that's literally his thing. Like messing with all this. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm getting real hyped. I just hope that this series can deliver another quality, outing for the MCU, which so far they've proven that they can. So, I'm not going to doubt
there's
them.
no reason to believe that it's not going to be good, unless you want to go by the old Marvel animated stuff, which fair enough. But it's under a different umbrella now. Well, it's the same umbrella. It's under new management.
Exactly.
Better way to phrase it, so.
Well, we'll get back to that soon, I suppose. So we'll know soon enough.